In the bid to put an end to unemployment in Gabon, the government is holding a series of national conferences on employment. On March 14, 2025, the conclusion of the first national conference on employment highlighted the many challenges undermining the sector, including job insecurity and difficulties in integrating youth graduates. In this campaign period for the presidential election on April 12, 2025, the 8 candidates are aiming to address the issue in order to turn the unemployment curve around. Unemployment affects all categories of people, men and women alike, and now more than half of these people are young people. So today the hot potato, if I can put it that way, the big issue is youth. We have this old saying here that youth is sacred, youth is the future. Unemployment, estimated at 20.3% in 2023, reflects the structural constraints of the Gabonese economy. Unemployment among young people estimated at 30% according to official figures, and particularly among young women, 29%, is much higher than for the population as a whole. Because of the low efficiency of the education system, the skills of young graduates very often do not meet the requirements of the labor market, according to some experts. And when we talk about employment, we are talking about purchasing power. So it's our duty here to find solutions to efficiently resolve this problem linked to the purchasing power of Gabonese citizens. With a population of around 2.4 million, the Central African country intends to review the employment policy in order to combat unemployment. The conference provided an opportunity to take stock of the employment market and identify the sectors that are recruiting in order to gain a better understanding of the specific needs of businesses. Economic diversification is a major challenge for the Gabonese authorities. Long dependent on oil, which still accounts for almost 38% of GDP and over 70% of exports, the Central African country intends to diversify its economy to ensure sustainable growth. Between political will, investment attractiveness, and the development of strategic sectors, the country has, according to the experts, cards to play to guarantee more inclusive and sustainable development. Many companies or traders engage in unfair competition or abuse their dominant position on the markets. That's why, in order to try and reduce his influence, which is in fact reprehensible, we have precisely that the Gabonese want this national preference. Rich in natural resources, Gabon has been engaged for several years in a strategy of economic diversification. Representing 3.2% of GDP and 6% of export in 2023, the forestry sector is one of the historical pillars of the Gabonese economy, accounting for some 17,000 direct and indirect jobs in the private sector. Similarly, the agricultural sector, which is still underexploited, could become a major lever for food self-sufficiency and exports. What the Gabonese people want today is to produce their own food. We've realized that food is a geostrategic element and we need to be able to say ourselves what we eat. It's a huge undertaking, but the political transition could provide an opportunity to reaffirm this ambition and breathe new life into the Gabonese economy.
According to official statistics, only 20% of Gabon's estimated 9,170 kilometers road network is paved. This situation is affecting the transport of goods and people in this Central African country. To alleviate the problem, the government is committed to development and safety. This will be achieved by allocating a budget of 1,333 billion francs CFA to road infrastructure projects between 2024 and 2026. We don't have any transport equipment. We don't have any loading or unloading areas. We don't have a bus station. There are no bus stations in this country today, not in Libreville or anywhere else. But the bus station is an instrument for regulating transport and helping to make transport efficient, and we think that we need to start by making it a priority. In the same vein, the Gabonese government approved a draft decree at the Council of Ministers meeting in 2024, providing for the borrowing of 74 billion francs CFA to finance the construction of 4 footbridges, the new Ebel Abanga Bridge, and a flyover in the capital Libreville. A number of upgrades to secondary roads have also been launched. These initiatives aim to improve connectivity and accessibility in the region, giving people new hope for safe and easy travel. The transport sector, as Jean-Robert said, is an area of sovereignty on one hand and at the center of economic and social activity on the other, and should be able to achieve special attention and take a very close look at what needs to be done to adapt the transport supply to the transport demand expected by the population. Despite the major challenges facing the country's road sector, it remains a priority for the government. With just a few days to go before the presidential election, the 8 candidates in the running are stepping up their rallies to convince as many Gabonese voters as possible with innovative ideas for developing the road sector in this Central African country.
Since 1974, the economic boom in Gabon, which has become a major producer of raw materials, has attracted large numbers of migrants, both regular and irregular, in search of economic opportunities. It's an influx that the population seems to be having a hard time coping with.
Il y a effectivement dans les choix la régularisation de ces populations. Encore faudrait-il...
There are indeed choices to be made regarding the regularization of these populations, but they still need to be regularized. I seem to remember that there have been several regularization operations on the national territory, but we haven't seen all of them, or even half of these nationals. So there is indeed this option. Gabon is a country governed by the rule of law, and like all other countries, would like its citizens to have their papers in order.
Que les citoyens vivant sur son territoire soient en règle.
Contrary to popular belief in mass immigration, Gabon has a total population of 1.8 million, according to data from the December 2023 IOM report on the profile of migrants in Gabon. The study indicates that migrants account for around 5% of Gabon's total population. It also states that 91% have valid travel documents, attesting to a predominantly legal and regular immigration. So the idea of a migratory threat to Gabonese sovereignty is exaggerated.
Répondre à cette question de statistiques par rapport au nombre de personnes de nationalité étrangère.
Answering this question of statistics in relation to the number of people of foreign nationality or naturalized citizens who hold certain positions has never arisen, because in reality we live in harmony with everyone. We may forget it, but immigration issues are about knowing how to live and knowing how to live together, about integration, cultural integration and mutual respect. And I think it's perhaps because of these tensions, because of the way we behave, the lack of respect for all these things, that the Gabonese people are saying to themselves, are we doing the right thing by being so welcoming?
Qui ont amené le Gabonais à se dire, au fond, est-ce que nous faisons bien d'être aussi accueillants?
In a context where Gabon is preparing to enter a new democratic era, the challenges linked to migration are numerous, and the measures proposed during the inclusive national dialogue, ranging from the repatriation of illegal foreigners to an exhaustive census of the foreign population residing in the country, should lead the authorities to strike a balance between protecting national sovereignty and respecting the fundamental rights of individuals.